What's going on, guys? In today's session we are climbing at the Rock Boxx Climbing Gym in Salem, Oregon. So I was passing through and decided to look up some of the local gyms in the area, and this is the first one that popped up. So I'm really excited to show you some of the problems I worked on today because they are pretty sick. So starting off right here, we have a yellow V1. This is the problem I decided to warm up on first. So like many V1s, this one was pretty chill. Just moving my hands and feet out and just kind of working on the hip movement at this point. If you're coming back to these videos more than once, you'll probably recognize that I usually start with V1 or V2, even sometimes V0. So usually pretty easy problems. So this V3 here was kind of cool. Moving up on some nice jugs, I decided to kind of work on flagging out different sides, turning the hips in, and then eventually getting to the top. Now the mats were really hard in this gym, so normally in the videos you might see me jump off from the very top. In this gym I was down climbing pretty much every climb. It was just not worth it. The mats felt like I would definitely hurt something if I jumped from the top. So this V4 here, a lot about body movement and just kind of rocking things over. So those holds actually, they're not too big. They're kind of crimpy, so you have to kind of crimp in between those textured little ridges. So now we're getting into the fun stuff. This is a yellow V5. So this 5 was very, very powerful and had a lot of good dynamic movement, which sometimes I really like. So after moving my left foot up, we had our first really big move up to that jug. And I decided to flag out, grab this sloper, and kind of bump my hand out over so I could get around that arete feature. So with that, I was able to get to the top. And that one wasn't too bad. So this next problem here is a black V6 on really tiny holds. This was a slab climb, and as you guys know, I've recently been really enjoying slab climbs a lot. So I thought this one would be just up my aisle. So rocking my hips over, matching first before reaching out to a crimp with my left hand. I decided to swap feet here. At first I was going for the far foot, decided to go high instead. And foot just totally slipped off. So these holds were really small. And if I wasn't pushing on them exactly correct, it would just totally make me fall off. So once again, swapping the feet, reaching up to the high right hand crimp, coming over. I wasn't really able to get a great body positioning. Felt really awkward. So I decided to try it again from the ground. So once again, we're swapping feet here, moving up to the high right hand crimp, moving left foot up, and I decided to drop my right hip inwards to the wall. And that actually felt a lot better. So trying it again, dry fired with my foot a little bit, and unfortunately that happened once or twice on attempts I wasn't able to film. So despite me falling off all the time, that new beta was definitely working. Definitely felt a lot more comfortable, and I wasn't having to hold with my biceps as much. So this time, once again, right hand crimp, moving up the left hand to the crimp, high left foot, hip in, got the high crimp up with the right hand, fell. All right, so for my last attempt on this prom, because I was definitely getting a little bit tired of it, moving out across. I really decided to hold that tension and push inwards with my right foot instead of down, and that helped a lot. And I was able to get the final crimp up there. So this next one, which is a yellow V5, was super crimpy, but I decided to climb it because it started on a slight overhang and had some cool crossing moves before finally finishing up on more of the vertical slope or vertical face of the wall. So getting my left toe on the crimp, I moved out to kind of a pinchy hold, which I matched. Bumped my left hand out to another crimp. So at this point, it was really awkward. The holds were really bad, and it was really hard to get a good, stable position. So trying it again, I decided to just move with the right hand first that time instead of trying to cross over like the previous time. Matching on that pinch once again and getting that super tiny crimp with the left hand. So this time I decided to kind of walk my feet out. And at this point, once again, it was really horrible to hold on to. And I was getting pumped, so I just decided to make a really big frantic move. Thankfully I caught it, but holy cow, I was holding that tightly. So cooling it down a little bit, this was a purple V6, but this one looked a little bit easier than that yellow problem. So moving out to a right hand crimp, crossing over with the left hand. So here with my left hand, I was holding on to an undercling crimp, and my hips were just poorly positioned and I fell off. So once again, crimping with both hands, reaching into the undercling, and I decided to swap my feet this time and flag out. That allowed me to get the right hand crimp that was up high. So then from a hang, I was able to get to the final hold, and I just went with a no hand campus move there. So the next problem, yellow V6. This one was really cool. Had a mix of really tiny crimps and also a mix of pinches. So this time I didn't dry fire off the start holds. Got into kind of a rail here. Moved my feet up, snagged that left hand crimp up high, and then I had to kind of gently move over as I started to move around the arete. I had to really drop my left foot low and get the pinch. It was a really shallow, horrible pinch. But eventually I got to the final hold. This next problem we have here is a white V5. Now this V5 has one of the hardest starts I think I've ever climbed in a gym. It's really hard to explain just how difficult that start was, but the body positioning was absolutely horrendous. Unfortunately, there was nothing to smear against with your left foot upon starting, so you had to just really get it perfectly on. But once I got the start holds, I was able to easily move up. So I'm bumping my right hand out to a small little crimp on the edge of that volume. I crossed over with the left hand into a crimp. I kind of bumped over to the holds on that other volume. So the last climb of the whole day is a blue V6. Once again, this one was pretty bad with the holds, but had some really cool body movement. I really wanted to try it. So moving into this undercling first, and then another cross move. And that was actually one of the things I really liked about this gym. It had a lot of cool crossing moves, and that is actually something I've been really trying to work on recently. Actually a lot on the kilter board, since a lot of the problems there have big crossing moves. So as you can probably tell, I was getting pumped, but also this climb itself was just really horrendous in terms of body movement. But regardless, I didn't really like my technique from that first go, so I decided to try to send it again with better technique, even though I was a little bit more pumped now, obviously. So a little bit smoother through these traversing moves. And after getting the heel hook on, I bumped my right hand to the shallow, I don't know if you'd call it a jug, but it definitely wasn't a crimp. So I finally get the finish hold there. Thanks for watching.